These aren't my real hands. These are the $350 Lego Black Panther hands. Welcome to Ask MandR, episode 273, the series where I answer your questions about Lego or anything else. So if you have a question or topic you want talked about next week, leave in the comments section below. This episode is sponsored by the great people over at Rakuten. We'll be talking about them and their Big Stack event later in this video, so make sure you stick around for that. But let's get into it with our first question from Just Yuri, who says, do you think LEGO should revisit the idea of minifigures with light-up lightsabers? I think it would be a fantastic thing to see what it would look like in the modern era of LEGO, and obviously specifically LEGO Star Wars. They did do one light-up figure that wasn't LEGO Star Wars. It was like a LEGO City policeman, and he had a flashlight, I think, that lit up, so that was kind of cool. But as far as lightsabers go, I don't think they'll ever do it again. I think the reason that it was such a one-and-done thing in 2005 is that it was so bad for the longevity of the product, because the battery would die, or the hand didn't move, or kids would break them. I've seen so many where the head is just missing and it's like an open head on top. So you had some issues with figures like that over the years, and I think that that is why they wouldn't revisit it unless they had some miraculous idea to fix all of those issues, which I don't really see happening, especially like the battery over time. It's just going to degrade no matter what. Maybe they can make them wirelessly rechargeable through the feet. That'd be pretty wild. But yeah, I think that was a good gimmick for 2005, but I just ultimately don't see it really coming back into the fray at any point. Ethan says, what are your thoughts on the perspective that Lucasfilm and Disney needs more blame for their control on what LEGO sets release for Star Wars? They don't need more blame. They are almost blameless. I think you can take so many examples over the years of, oh, LEGO hasn't released a Jango Fett Slave 1 in 20 years. Screw Disney. But Hasbro just did a Jango Fett Slave 1 for their Mighty Micros line or whatever, Galaxy Squadron, I think it is actually. All of these things have been done by their companies, and you can also look at things like the 212 helmet. I know it's been talked to death, but Hasbro just came out with a new, I think, 3 3/4 inch figure of a 212 Trooper. The triangles are triangles on those figures, so it's not Disney's fault that LEGO has the print messed up. You know what I mean? I think the blame for Disney and Lucasfilm lies solely as far as what they approve for quality. Like they're approving some bottom tier stuff when it comes to LEGO Star Wars that just has absolutely no excuse. I mean, the designers will go on and talk about how they have such a great working relationship and they work every step of the way trying to make everything as good as possible. But then it's not anywhere close to what it should be if that's the truth. So I think if you're going to blame anything on Disney and Lucasfilm, it's what specifically they're allowing LEGO to get away with, because at the end of the day, I think they have final say on what gets released under their brand IP. So yeah. Charlie says, do you think we'll get any special sets for the 25th anniversary of LEGO Star Wars next year? And we recently had a leak of the LEGO Star Wars Visual Dictionary for 2024, which gives us a little bit of insight into this. And so, first off, you can see a silhouette of a minifigure. I know a lot of people are going to look at this and think it's probably Leia from MandR, because that's what it looks like. However, historically, the silhouette of the figure doesn't really match up with what figure ends up being in the book. So, as of now, I would say we have no idea what the figure in the book is going to be. I'm really hoping we get something prequel, because we've never had that with the Visual Dictionary, and most of the books that LEGO releases just in totality come with a regular original trilogy figure, and it's kind of boring. So love to see them do something else there that's kind of crazy outside of the box. But we'll see. As far as 25th anniversary, I believe if they were doing any anniversary marked sets, this would also be marked on the book, as it was in 2019. It was marked, I believe, 20th anniversary on that Visual Dictionary. Obviously, if they were doing anything for the 25th anniversary, they would mark it like such. Historically, for the theme, they have celebrated the 10th anniversary and the 20th anniversary, so that would also lead me to believe that the 25th anniversary probably wouldn't get anything and have no reason to get anything marked. I don't think that means the sets are going to be better or worse than they would have been otherwise. They just won't have any special markings on the box. I suppose the big difference there for 5 years ago was the 20th anniversary minifigures, which was kind of a cool thing to bring back some old figs. So if you're looking for that, I don't think that's going to happen next year either. But yeah, don't expect anything. I think it's going to be nothing. I know some people look at 25 as a quarter of a century, and it's possible that there could be, but given that the book has nothing on it, I'm going to say the sets won't celebrate 25 years either. RJ Brick says, do you like the Coruscant Guard gunship, or do you wish LEGO would make a regular plain gunship? So it did leak the other day, and I really like the idea of LEGO doing not a regular gunship. I've got the old regular gunships, you know, the UCS gunship just came out a couple years ago, and doing a non-regular gunship, in my eyes, is not a bad thing. I know, like a lot of fans, it's been a decade and they want a regular gunship, and I get that. I still think that's on the table for a couple years from now, a few years from now. I think ideally they would have not done a Coruscant Guard gunship, and they would have done a Mulus 10 or a Wolfpack gunship. I think those would have been the more iconic, more well-known gunships, certainly more fan demand, and of course the regular one as well should have been made before a Coruscant Guard gunship. But yeah, I don't think it's a bad idea for a set. I think some of it was pretty poorly executed given what I talked about in my leak video, and obviously what I'll probably end up saying in my review, but the idea of the set was not bad. So yeah, I like it, but I also do wish they'll make a regular one, and I fully expect them to at some point in time by the end of the decade, which I know is not the timetable you want to hear. Timmy the God says, knowing LEGO, do you think they'll screw up Captain Rex by adding printed pauldrons and camas, knowing that they haven't made cloth or plastic ones for a couple years? Love the vids, keep up the great work. Thank you very much, Timmy. Now, they have been making cloth ones this year. If you look at this meme from Maddie's minifigures, you can see for LEGO Dreams, a theme made literally for children, they have cloth waist capes, but for LEGO Star Wars, they don't care to do cloth waist capes because the designers just don't want to include them, I guess. That's just what they're doing. I hate it. I don't like it. I think it looks awful, but that is where we're at as LEGO Star Wars fans. They just don't exist anymore, apparently. And so, yeah, if we look at what's coming for Fox in the Republic gunship, it's pretty clear to me that the Rex will also not get a physical waist cape. If one doesn't have one, the other's not getting it. That's like, I'm pretty sure that's how that's going to work. So yeah, get ready. It's going to look bad for Rex. Buy some old waist capes, I guess. Like, I don't know why the product for $650 can't be as good as it can be. But it can't, clearly. LEGO Star Wars has proven that time and time again now, and that's like, I'm starting to get used to it. I'm starting to be less upset by it and more expecting it, which is maybe a good thing for my mental health, but like, I don't know, $650, make a good clone trooper. Now, a lot of people defend the lack of waist cape as like, these clones are made for kids. And like, well, then what is that LEGO Dreams set made for? Of course, you know, LEGO Dreams is a theme, like, made for literally 6 to 8 year olds at its core. Star Wars is much more all-encompassing, and especially when it comes to clone troopers, and I think most people here understand this, the reason all of these modern clone troopers exist is because of internet fans asking for them. Every single one you see come out is being made because of internet fan demand. There are no 4+ clone trooper sets. Like, that's pretty obvious, and it's obvious why. So knowing that all of these are being made because of teenage and adult LEGO fans being out there and asking LEGO to make them, which is great that they are willing to make them at the very least, but knowing that LEGO won't go to the full length to make them as great as they can and have been in the past really sucks. So yeah, with Fox having leaked, we now know Rex will also leak in a similar fashion and look similarly bad in certain ways. It'll still be a Rex. People will still be excited about it because they'll take anything they can get, but what they're getting is not as good as it should be. Sir Captain Morgan says, do you think we'll ever see another LEGO ARC Trooper? I can't believe they only never did the one in the battle pack, you know? They did that very special mold for the helmet, and then they never made another one. And there were a few they could have done. It's unfortunate that I think Blitz is one of them. It's really unfortunate that they didn't, because there could have been some really cool 2012 era ARC Troopers. I almost don't want them to. I don't want to know how bad it would be. Like, I don't want to go through that. So I almost am like very okay with there only ever being the one in 2012. But you know, ultimately I know I would like to see a new one. I just want it to be good, and that's the problem. I know it won't be good, at least if they did it today, you know? So maybe in 5 years they'll figure it out and it won't be so bad. They are doing a lot of clone troopers right now, so it could be pretty likely that that would be one clone trooper they would do. However, it is kind of a special variant that needs a special helmet mold, and they probably wouldn't do that. So I think it's relatively unlikely compared to a lot of other variants of clone troopers that just use the same helmets that they're able to use for the cheapest price possible. Sorry to interrupt your regularly scheduled question with a way to save money. Today's video is sponsored by Rakuten. I've been using Rakuten for a few years now, and I've used it to save money on LEGO purchases and even my mattress in my new house. It's super convenient when you download the extension, because when you go onto a new website, it pops up and asks you if you want to save money. That's a no-brainer. Rakuten is the largest cashback site, partnering with over 3,500 of the biggest name brands like LEGO, Target, Walmart, and more places you might buy LEGO, or all the other things you might be buying. All you have to do is click on the links found on Rakuten and then shop on the store's website like you normally would, or like I mentioned earlier, use the browser extension. Right now is Rakuten's Big Stack event, where you can get 10% cash back on hundreds of your favorite brands from July 10th to July 12th. which could help you make a big stack of battle packs. If you sign up right now using my link in the description below, you'll get $30 bonus cash back when you make your first qualifying purchase of $30 or more. So make sure you take advantage of that and the great deals going on from July 7th to July 10th with their big stack event. Back to our regularly scheduled questions. DC Metro says, did you get a second Skywalker Saga GONK promotional item? I noticed you have 2 of the boxes from the GONK on your shelf and was curious. So I actually did, yep, there are 2 of them there. The reason I got a second one though wasn't because I like really desperately wanted to have 2 and I was like, man, it would look so cool on my shelf if I had 2 and I could flex it. That is not why I bought the second one. I bought the second one so that I can trade it for something else. When it comes to rare LEGO Star Wars items like the GONK droid or other things that are just hard to come by, there isn't always one for sale. So like, here's my example, you know, the dropship with AT-OT is undoubtedly expensive. It's like $2,000 sealed in the box or whatever. However, it's available. You can find one. If you want to buy a sealed one, that is an easy thing to do. You just need the money, right? But when it comes to some of these rare LEGO Star Wars items like the GONK droid, maybe there's only 50 or 100 that have been made, and they are not readily available. You can't just hop on eBay, Bricklink, whatnot, or otherwise, and find one for sale. So by having 2, I now can use one to trade for something else that isn't easily available for sale. You know, maybe someone else has a certain item that I want in 3 years, and I'm like, man, I'd really like that. But money usually, when it comes to some of this stuff, is not really going to be the motivating factor, you know? Someone could come to me for my Clone Army box, and it's very unlikely I would sell it for any reasonable amount of money. They would have to be pulling out fat stacks of cash to make me want to sell that. So what's more reasonable to be able to do is to be able to have an item like an extra GONK droid and be like, hey, I have this other really rare thing, and it just so happens you really love GONK droids. You know what I love? I love that Commander Cody you have there. Maybe we can work something out. And maybe a GONK droid isn't a one-to-one trade for a Commander Cody. Kind of like Malcolm Brogdon wouldn't be a one-to-one trade for Damian Lillard. But maybe that GONK droid and $1,000 gets the job done. Yeah, having 2 gives me the ability to trade it for something else, and that is the ultimate goal with the second one. So if you have a really rare LEGO Star Wars item that, you know, you don't maybe want money for, but, you know, you'd take a trade for, I have a GONK droid that I am happy to trade. Just gotta be the right deal. Goody Boy says, what do you think is the biggest scam LEGO has ever done? Can we talk about the brick separator? $2.49 on Lego.com and at LEGO stores. $2.50! How is that $2.50? I think that's a scam. 1 piece for $2.50 and it's not even like a crazy big piece? I don't know, bro. I think that's a big scam. I mean, I'm sure you guys have some crazy answers of what you think LEGO is way overpriced and what category with what's that, but man, maybe that 4 Plus ATST is a good answer, but I think the brick separator costing $2.50 is insane, especially given that they hand it out for free in like half of every LEGO set, you know? So I don't know, man. I look at that for $2.50 and I'm like, who is ever gonna buy this? I guess it has to be like super casual, like LEGO people or like parents that are like, wow, what does this do at a LEGO store? And then they buy it and then they get home and they open up the set that they just bought and then they have 2 of them and they're like, wow, I just got $2.50 for free. I don't know, bro. I think the brick separator is a scam at $2.50 though. Should be $1. Garbage Archive wants to know what the black paint rectangle on the neck for LEGO minifigs is. That is to tell the machine, I think when it's printing, which way is forward for the minifig and which way is backwards so that it prints on the right side. 101 Brick 6 says, you're going to do a new thumbnail photo shoot at some point. The black shirt face holding cutout is iconic, but has been used a lot now. So what usually happens is when a news video like this pops up, like the Coruscant gunship the other day and many other throughout the years, I'm like, holy crap, news, gotta make a video. And so I stop whatever I'm doing. Last night I was filming my advent calendar video, and then the gunship leaked, and I was like, I was like, advent calendar video, not now, get out. Took everything off my table and then filmed the gunship video, and that was like 2 hours, and then I got back to it or whatever. But what essentially happens is in the spur of the moment, I'm like, I can use this thumbnail face and I can have the video out now, or I can spend 25 minutes making a new one and not like sure that I'll love it before it's done, you know? So I usually just use the old ones that I have done, but I should totally make or pay someone to make like 20 more so I can have more variety with them. I 1000% agree. It's just not something I've done yet. So like I said, what usually happens is I'm like, this is the easy thing to do, so I just throw it on there and I say, next time I'll have new ones ready. And then I don't, so maybe next time. Silent Max says, have you heard of the small LEGO YouTuber First Legion? He recently made a very cool Jedi Temple MOC that I think you might enjoy. I have not, but let's check it out. Like, really, first impressions here. So I actually have seen this guy before. It says I'm actually subscribed, so if I head on over to his channel, I'll figure out why I was subscribed by scrolling. Oh! Look at that. Those are thumbnails we were talking about last week. Anyway, scrolling all the way down here, it looks like the reason I subscribed was this video here, his collection. I thought he had a dope collection. I guess you said Jedi Temple MOC. There's the start of it. I don't remember seeing it there then, but he had a really sick collection at the time. Let's see. I did not comment, but I was just super impressed with his collection setup. Now the me of today would hate how dusty it is and how dusty it must have gotten over the last year, you know? But I just loved his collection, you know? I wish he would get some glass cases for all this stuff. It makes me nervous knowing how dusty it's gonna get, but it does just look gorgeous. I mean, look at all those gunships on a shelf and a ghost. You just can't beat that sort of stuff. You know, it looks beautiful. So yeah, I was just a big fan of the guy's collection, and apparently he has posted a lot more since this, because this was the reason I did subscribe back then. He didn't have a whole lot of other content there, and scrolling up, it looks like he's posted a lot more. Let's see this Jedi Temple MOC. It looks like he actually completed a MOC, unlike my Hoth build, which hopefully one day will get completed. Let's see.
Maybe fly my first pass.
I mean, that looks like a pretty dang sick Jedi Temple. I love the, like, archives inside with the translucent blue. Looks like Order 66 is going down. I mean, this is phenomenal stuff here. So, yeah, no, this looks awesome. And you know what's crazy, too? You said small YouTuber, and I was like, okay, he's going to have, like, 100 subscribers. He has 16,000. It's crazy to me, like, as someone who's been doing it for so long, obviously, that 16,000 is now considered small in the LEGO space, because that was not the case for a long time. 16,000 was like a huge achievement, and I still think it is. I think this guy getting 16,000 subscribers is awesome. Like, that's great. But man, it's crazy that like people literally consider that small though. That Ki-Adi-Mundi face is creeping me out a little bit. I don't know what that face on there is. I know it's not probably Ki-Adi-Mundi, it's just a variant, but oh man, I love this MOC. This is really, really cool. Ooh, holocron chamber with Jar Jar. Oh man. That is crazy. Then you have like the council in the other room. Oh boy. Yeah, you guys gotta check this one out. This is pretty cool. I don't have the time to go through all of it in this video, but man. Sick MOC, man. If you're watching this video, I don't know if someone else asked the question, but sick MOC. Brady Blaze 08 says, what is your least favorite LEGO theme, not including video? So we'll go with themes only currently available, and I'm gonna go on Lego.com because I don't keep this on the top of my mind. I gotta figure this one out. Oh boy, I found the new one to hate. Gabby's Dollhouse. I have no idea who Gabby is, and I don't care about her dollhouse. I feel like hate is the wrong word. This is the theme I care about the least by a wide margin. I was looking through the list of themes on Lego.com there, and you know, most of them I'm like, that's pretty cool, that's pretty cool, that's pretty cool. Ninjago, that's pretty cool, that's pretty cool. And so yeah, Gabby's Dollhouse is, I don't hate it, I don't wake up with any ill will towards it, but I certainly do not care about it, and unlike Friends, obviously I find none of this like appealing. It looks like there's 4 sets and this is a new theme and all. I don't think any of this is like the least bit appealing or aesthetically pleasing to me. I'm reading the question again. You said least favorite, not hate, so I apologize for that. Sometimes I forget, but still, Gabby's Dollhouse I just care the least about. Wyatt says, do you worry about the end of the world? I was a sucker for 2012. I was scared. I thought the world was gonna end. I thought the asteroid was a-coming, and ever since that farce, I have become a much wiser man. I no longer believe the world is gonna end. Every time they say the world is gonna end, the Mayans and Nostradamus, they were wrong before. They'll be wrong again. The History Channel scared me. You know. Yeah, 2012 was oh boy, I thought it might happen. I was like, the internet got me that one time, bro. Red Baron says, do you think the Versus Battle Pack concept worked, and would you like to see them make a comeback? I think it was a really good idea. I think in some cases, the other side of the opposition didn't have enough stuff or didn't look good enough. Like, I think they did them for 2 years, and like, you did the Clone Trooper versus Droideka battle pack, and the Droidekas were just atrocious. And, you know, that was kind of the consensus at the time, and that was one of the last ones, and the sets were eh. You know, the Old Republic one I think was awesome. Like, instead of doing 2 Old Republic ones, just doing the Versus one was great. I think the potential of having had a Versus 332nd versus Mando, like, Super Commando battle pack would have been way cooler than just a straight 332nd battle pack. So I think the potential to bring them back is, like, really high, and I think there's some really good options for what they could do. I think it did work. Like, this is a pretty good set, obviously, but I would love to see more on the other side of the Versus, right? Maybe a second small build, Or if you're doing commando droids, like a third commando droid or something, you know? Like commando droids I don't think are as valuable as a minifigure, so there should maybe be more there than there was. But with the 4 versus battle packs, I think 3 of them were good. The Endor one, this one, and the Old Republic one, I think were genuinely good battle packs. I think the Clone Droideka one was pretty abysmal because of how bad the Droidekas were. But I think they should have come back with this set already in summer of 2023. This would have been the perfect opportunity to reintroduce the Versus concept by having the Darth Maul Mandalorians, because they are so integral to like fighting the 332nd in Clone Wars Season 7. We haven't had them since like 2012. You know, I'm just trying to get us more cool minifigures, and that's not what we're getting from LEGO Star Wars at this point, I feel like. Does this count as a Versus battle pack? Like, they're facing off against each other. And I just saw it and thought, oh, maybe this one does too. Because of Order 66, this also should count as a Versus battle pack? Maybe? I don't know. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you have a question or a topic for next week, comments are down below. So it's a like button and a link to today's sponsor, Rakuten. Make sure you guys, again, check them out. Take advantage of that $30 bonus with a qualifying purchase during their big stack event. See you guys next week.